What's up, kids? It's V, and today what we're going to do is talk about some paranormal stories that I have found on the internet. So without further ado, let's get right on into it, and we're going to read some stories that I found online. And they're going to be very creepy, and they're going to be extra creepy because it is nighttime here. It's like almost 10 o'clock p.m., and I'm just not used to doing spooky things like at nighttime, so here we go. We're gonna try our best not to get super scared. Alrighty, so here's the first story. When I was 13, my uncle went out of town and asked me to stay at his place to keep an eye on it. I invited my buddy to come spend the weekend with me so I wasn't alone. We were hanging out in the attached garage watching TV at around 1 a.m. when I realized I forgot to turn off the pool pump. When we opened the garage door to the backyard, we were flooded with this overwhelming smell of burning meat. Right when I smelt it, I was overcome with a feeling of dread, and my gut told me not to go outside, so we immediately closed the door. As we closed the garage door, my uncle's dog started barking and growling at the other door, which was open and leads into the house. She was barking and growling into the darkness of the hallway. As we slammed the door shut, the electric dartboard went haywire. It was making all sorts of crazy noises and flashing all of the lights like the entire thing was short-circuiting. Then out of nowhere, everything stopped. The feeling of dread went away, the dog stopped barking at the door, and the dartboard shut off. We did not sleep at all that night, and thankfully my uncle came home the next day. I'm not really sure how to rationalize all three of those things happening at the same time. This place literally has the same story written twice, so I don't know why but that's fine. I was really tired from a day at placement, and I laid down on my side on my bed and was facing my laptop. On my left was my chair, which was facing me right next to my bed. I checked the time, and around 5 minutes later, I quickly, involuntarily drifted off into an extremely vivid dream that would horrify me to this day. I dreamt that I was at uni in a class when a girl with long black hair and no face came to the door asking for me, saying that I had won a prize and to go with her. I stood up and followed. Although she had no face, she wasn't threatening, and I had a pleasant but strange presence to her. We walked down a hallway and I asked what my prize was. She said, "You will see, but you have to do something first." I said sure, and I asked her what I had to do. She stated that I would receive a great prize, but that I would have to earn it through public speaking, and that I would have to make a speech in front of a large crowd. I said that I would accept the prize, but there was no way I would do a public speech. We arrived at this door and she told me to open it. I opened it and walked through to find a red carpet with rows and rows of people in seats with a stage at the end. An announcer announced my name and everyone turned around looking at me while clapping. I was horrified and said, "Nope, you can keep your prize." The faceless woman was behind me and she pushed me forward. I instantly moved back and I said, "I don't want your prize." This angered her. What happened next still messes with me to this day. She was beside me and I looked just in time for her to slap me on the back. The strange thing was, it was the biggest slap I've ever felt in my life. It was 10 rapid slaps in one. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I instantly woke up as I jolted forward and felt pain on my back where I'd been slapped. I turned around and saw the vacant chair. No one was there. My back felt like it had actually been slapped and I was freaking out. I went and checked the mirror and I had a handprint on my back. Only 10 minutes had passed since I last checked the time. Wow, that is so crazy, and I can't even imagine having a dream like that and then waking up and being like, "Oh, actually, I did have something physical happen to me." Like, I just can't imagine, like, having a dream where you get hurt, waking up, and then having that, like, thing have actually oh my gosh, I can't even speak. Anyway, let's keep reading. There's another one. I lived in what I've come to realize must have been a haunted apartment for 7 years, so I have a lot of these. I know it sounds crazy and you don't have to believe me, I wouldn't if I hadn't lived it. But since you asked, I'll give you the highlights. Small handprints would sometimes appear in the bathroom mirror when I showered. I moved in when I was almost 13, and the only other person that lived there was my mom. The handprints were the size of a child under the age of 10, and they aspirated periodically for the entire time that we lived there, and they never got any bigger. For periods of weeks to months at a time, one specific door, the bedroom directly across from the bathroom, would seem to have a mind of its own. We could not make it stay open or closed during these times because it would open and close randomly on its own. Normally, when this happened, it would move slowly, but on occasion, it slammed itself shut. It wasn't doing it because of a draft or uneven floors, because for 90% of the time we lived there, it was a totally normal door. And it only had 2 to 3 of these rebellious periods. It has quotes, that's why I did air quotes. Things would move on their own. 2 very notable examples of this were the time a 20-ounce can of peanuts flew across the room and scattered peanuts everywhere, and the time the chain on the chain lock started swinging spontaneously and continued to do so for 5 minutes. Oh my gosh. These things happened in the same week. The building was built in the 1930s, so there was no central ventilation. We had 2 window unit air conditioners. That's it. Wow. I would get scratches from nothing. Most of them I could explain away, but a few were unexplainable, such as the scratch on my thigh that I got while in gym class, while surrounded by people, none of whom saw anything unusual, and the cut all the way across my wrist that showed up when putting shampoo in my hair. There were a lot more too, but this is already pretty long, so I'll leave it there for now. Oh my gosh, that's some crazy. It actually wasn't that long, but it's all good. That's some crazy stuff that's been going on, and honestly, like, I'd be whack. I would be going insane. Okay, let's do one more. One of my best friends in high school and I used to drive to all the haunted spots we could find in our state. Sometimes we would get other people to come, and sometimes alone. Creepy stuff happened a lot, but it was usually just us being on edge and could mostly be explained away. One thing that happened though that I will never forget and I can never find a logical reason for. One night, her and I were playing alone our little game, but this time we stuck to our own town. We were heading to a large bridge that's known for creepy stuff happening, and we were passing through a neighborhood that we had both been through a million times before. It was a quieter and darker neighborhood filled with only houses. She turned on a street, again, that I had been on before, and there was a gravel road into the woods in front of us. I said something like, "What the hell? I don't remember this." And she was dead silent, and drove into the trees, sorry. We were driving, and there were turns and curves, but this gravel road and trees were all that was around. I kept saying that I was confused, and this wasn't supposed to be where we were, and my friend was agreeing. We'd been in this area countless times, and there weren't any woods or gravel roads. I had felt so uneasy. She gave me her phone and told me to pull up Google Maps to see if I could see where we were. It wouldn't pin our location, and I was pretty much all but crying and hyperventilating at this point. We drove for a while and couldn't find any roads leading out to where we came from. Finally, after forever, we got out of it and she kind of silently took me home. The next day, we decided to go find it again, took the exact same roads, and there was nothing there. The neighborhood was normal. If I was alone, I would have chalked it up to falling asleep or losing my damn mind, but we were both together and the exact same thing happened. Whenever I tell people about it, I'm not sure they believe me, but this still gives me goosebumps. Nothing overtly scary happened while we were in these woods, but they 100% were not supposed to be there. That is so wild, and honestly, like, I would just be so freaked out. I wouldn't even want to go check the next day. Like, I wouldn't want to go there and be like, "Oh, just kidding, this doesn't exist." Like, I would be so scared, honestly. I don't even know what I would do. Well, those are the 3 stories that we have time for today. And if you liked my video, please like and subscribe, comment down below, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. With that final story, I conclude my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Have a great, lovely day, evening, morning, whatever you've got going on. Peace out. Love you.